Things are gonna get crazy!
Most everyone's mad here.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another great episode of AniMat's Crazy Cartoon Cast. And let me tell you that I know it's going to be extremely tough to go and top what happened last week, because let me tell you, last week was definitely one of my biggest episodes, and definitely one of the biggest weeks in terms of animation and entertainment news, especially with what happened with Blue Sky Studios and its unfortunate downfall. However, even though that it's going to be really tough to go and top that, that still doesn't mean, that still doesn't mean that we won't have fun on this episode. And there are definitely plenty of things that we are going to go and talk about. And this time around, it won't just be about cartoons. There are definitely plenty of other great discussions that we will be happening, and a lot of great things to go and anticipate for the rest of 2021 and even for possibly of 2022. So we're definitely going to have a good time with this episode. And by the way, there is one more thing I would like to go and quickly discuss, and just to quickly bring up, because this definitely does need some attention, and that is regarding with what's been happening in Texas, where unfortunately there's been a massive snowstorm, and it really hit the people of Texas hard, where it was at the point where they were just not ready for that moment, and a lot of people are unfortunately suffering. They're losing their homes, they're freezing, they're losing electricity, water is starting to become scarce, so it really has unfortunately become a disaster area in numerous of places in Texas. So whenever you can, please go and show your support and go help them out. It's pretty much important to do so when these people are currently suffering, especially when their Republican leaders are doing absolutely nothing about it, rather it be blaming on the Green New Deal, which hasn't officially signed on yet, or people like Ted Cruz, who decided they're just going to bail on Texas and just immediately head straight to Cancun. This is why it's a great thing that the Democratic leaders are actually doing something about it, and really shows how Democrats are objectively better than Republicans, especially around this time when you got Joe Biden sending in people to go and help the people of Texas out. You got people such as Beto O'Rourke and Alexia Cortez, or Alexandria, I believe. Yeah, AOC. You guys know AOC. That those people are raising money as well to go and help fund, to go and help the people of Texas out. So this is a case where you should be more like Democrats in the case of Texas, to actually go and help those people out and to make sure that they can survive through the disaster that occurred there. So that's just one quick shout out that I would like to go and quickly give out to the people of Texas, because I know that those people absolutely need it during this time. All right, so with that said and done now, it is now time that we shall go into the chat wall, and I would like to ask you all, are you ready for today's episode of AniMat's Crazy Cartoon Cast? Let me hear it, guys. Are you set for what we have for today? Let's see now. Yep, okay. We're starting to see some. All right. Yep. All right. Yep. Okay. Now it's building up. I'm starting to see a little bit down there, and now like it's climbing up that people are set and ready. Well, that is great to hear. And now with all that said and done, it is now time that we shall go and get this one started. And with our first story that I have for you today, we actually got a trailer for a movie that I honestly completely forgot that it was supposed to be coming out this year. In fact, I completely forgot that it even existed. Like, yeah, I was aware of it, but it always slipped my mind of like, yeah, that was a thing, but now it's actually going to be a big thing. And not only that, I was honestly shocked to discover that, yeah, it's actually coming very soon. It's just a few months away. We are in 2021, so that pretty much means that soon it's gonna happen. This movie is legit gonna be coming out. And now we have received our first look. We have a few images, but now we got actually our first clips of it in the form of a trailer. So, with that said, let us go and start this episode off by checking out the trailer for the upcoming Disney live-action remake, Cruella.
From the very beginning, I realized I saw the world differently than everyone else. That didn't sit well with some people. But I wasn't for everyone. I guess they were always scared that I'd be a psycho. Sorry now. But a new day brings new opportunities. Sorry now. And I was ready to make a statement. How does the saying go? I am woman, hear me roar. I'm just getting started, darling. The thing is, I was born brilliant, born bad, and a little bit mad. I'm glad that you're sorry. I'm Cruella. No.
And that is the trailer for Cruella, or as you guys probably know, the live-action remake of 101 Dalmatians, in which this time around they are going to be focusing on Cruella de Vil. In a way, it's a little bit of a prequel spin-off, if you will, as we are going to be looking into her origin story, or a bit more of a reimagining, considering that it's going to be set during the punk rock 1980s era. And they're going to show the evolution of the character on how she started to get into the fashion industry, and then immediately going up to the crazy psychopath that wants to turn puppies into a fur coat. That's basically the big goal with what they want to do with this trailer. And I find it very interesting to see the mixed reactions that actually came from this Cruella trailer, because I've seen all different kinds of reactions. You got one group of people that find that this is essentially Disney's Joker. Like, you think about the Joker character from the Batman series, especially with what Warner Brothers recently did with the Joaquin Phoenix movie, and Disney just wants to make their own version, but with the character of Cruella. In fact, when you do look at the trailer, you actually do see a whole bunch of hints that it does look like that they're aiming towards that direction of this Joker-like Cruella, that essentially, if it's not for the Zack Snyder Justice League movie, then this would have been the trailer that really gave out the most "we live in a society" vibes. Especially when there are moments when it looked like Cruella became like a massive cult leader. Like there's like a building in which it's written like Cruella everywhere, and you even have a little moment where Cruella is with like a massive crowd and stuff like that. Maybe they could be dream sequences, but you do see some of the examples of Cruella de Vil just becoming the next Joker. Even like you would see familiar shots of Cruella, and not to mention like the amount of high crimes that are featured there. So of course they're really aiming for that Joker territory, and not to mention the whole element of we live in a society, where basically it's trying to say that it's because of society that Cruella has gone mad. It's because Cruella wants to escape from the norm, where she became crazy and decided to break all the rules, including the rules of law, where she became the character that we know today. Like, it really is bringing out so many of that Joker vibe. But then, at the same time, there are also other people that do say that this trailer actually looks good. I've surprisingly seen a lot of people that are actually quite positive towards this trailer, even in terms of stuff even for people who are usually more skeptical when it comes to Disney live action movies or Disney live action remakes, that normally they would be against them, but then they suddenly see this and they start to open up to it a little bit, especially when they're trying to do something that is completely different. Like, one thing that I can give this trailer in particular is that, thank God, this is not just another, like, full-on remake that's just doing the exact same thing as the original did, but inferior. I mean, we've already gotten those movies, especially after going through stuff like Beauty and the Beast, after The Lion King, and even a little bit of Mulan. Like, this is pretty much promising us that this is going to be completely original. This is going to be completely different. But then again, of course, a lot of people are saying that this is bringing up a lot of major Maleficent vibes, and they are giving out a lot of Wicked vibes, where, in a way, Cruella in this case is obviously a villain, but kind of like a villain that you want to root for, especially going into her origins, explaining a lot of who she is, and, like, kind of making her sympathetic in a sense. That's kind of like maybe that's the direction that they want to go with. Like, I remember seeing one tweet on social media stating that, like, this is just another proof of how Disney is just so butthurt of the fact that they do not own the rights to Wicked, that Disney desperately wants to make Disney definitely wants to make a film adaptation of Wicked, but they can't because they don't have the rights. That belongs to Universal, so they're trying to make the most that they can with characters such as Maleficent or Cruella or whatever. So that could be the case, but I will admit that I am surprised to see the overwhelming positive results. But there are definitely some other things as well that they are showing that does look pretty positive. Not only the promise of an original story, but on top of that, I will say the shots that they are presenting here, they are gorgeous. Like, I'll give it to it right now. It's already a great looking film with plenty of wonderful, memorable shots that they are presenting here. Like, it already looks great. The production design is very strong, and not only that, but also the production value definitely has some strength. Like, they are taking advantage to it. Even promising some great effects as well. Like, probably one memorable shot in here is when Cruella enters this whole gallery filled with plenty of rich people. It's like some kind of masquerade party, and she comes in with her dress and just puts her white cloak in flames to reveal the dress that's underneath, which is completely red, which I guess people were absolutely shocked because it's a black and white party. But then again, I guess that's also another Joker element. It's like, oh, she's breaking the rules. She doesn't follow the rules. She's doing it her own way and all that kind of stuff. So maybe it is that kind of element that they want to go and push. It does have some nice production value, so I will give it that. But probably one thing that I will say that is the most positive that I could give out, and probably the most delightful surprise for me, would actually be with Emma Stone as Cruella de Vil. Because I will say, at first, I was a little bit worried. I was a bit worried that they would go into a bit of the Maleficent route, where they're trying to take a well-known Disney villain and try to give her a lot of sex appeal, which is definitely the case. Which is the case here with Cruella de Vil. And let's be honest, Emma Stone is a very attractive actress, and there are even some shots where she does look very good for even when she's playing as Cruella de Vil. Like, I do have one example here, like this shot where we see her as Cruella, but not the crazy Cruella, but just she seems like she's at her prime. She looks great. She definitely looks good. But the thing is that what makes me feel a little bit uncomfortable is the fact that it's Cruella de Vil, and I'm not 100% sure how to feel with the way that Disney wants to try to make Cruella de Vil attractive. Because I'll be honest, I don't know a single person out there. Maybe there are some people, but for me personally, I don't know a single person who would watch the original 101 Dalmatians movie and would think that Cruella de Vil is hot, that she's sexy, or anything like that. Because let's be real, when it comes to Cruella de Vil, she looks like someone's rambunctious and emotionally unstable aunt who would be the first to get way too drunk out of drinking way too much wine. You know what I mean? That's the vibe that I would get from Cruella de Vil. So I don't know, but the way that Disney might do the same thing with Maleficent, where they're really trying to amp up the sex appeal, it's just something that I don't know, and I don't know if I would feel comfortable with that. But then, after watching this trailer, I will say that I was surprised that, yeah, for the most part, from what I'm seeing, she's kind of nailing it. Like, she actually does do a pretty good job playing the role of Cruella, or at least it's very promising. Yeah, there are a lot of times, like, when she would go into her monologue about going mad, yeah, it's very much like, it sounds like she wants to be like Joker, or since this is a Disney film, it almost feels like this was originally meant to be some kind of spin-off to Tim Burton's Alice in Wonderland, and they wanted to make some kind of Mad Hatter movie with Johnny Depp, like, to really emphasize that character and really play up the whole mad thing, like, yes, you have to go mad. I am brilliant, but I am also mad. Like, they definitely do play up that part, but I will give this credit, is that, it, like, with Emma Stone as Cruella, she's not about the looks. They also do promise a lot of the crazy side, and when they show her crazy side, I'm gonna be very honest, those are the times when you actually do see Cruella de Vil. Like, I look at this, and honestly, I actually do see a bit of the same Cruella from the animated movie, or especially, like, that last shot where she says, I am Cruella. Like, this right here. Like, her hair is messed up, her makeup is completely ruined, or a lot of it is just taken off. Like, you could tell that Emma Stone went through so much crap here. But this, to me, actually does say that this is Cruella de Vil. And this is honestly tells me that this is a promise that maybe she will nail the character. Maybe, like, yeah, she'll go, like, she'll try to sell hard on the whole going mad thing, but maybe she could actually get it right, and maybe we will see the same Cruella that we have seen in the animated movie that we all know and love to hate. So there is definitely some promise there, especially with Emma Stone. So there are some good things about it overall, and there are some things that I feel extremely cautious about. And I think that's my overall feeling, is just, I feel cautious. Like, I'm not gonna say that this is gonna suck immediately. I'm not gonna say that this is bad, I'm not interested, this is gonna suck, I'm giving this already a 3 out of 10 or whatever. I'm not going to do that kind of bullcrap, because I could see the promise, especially coming from the cinematography, the production design, and especially from Emma Stone playing the role of Cruella. There is some promise. But then again, there is also the elements where it does feel like it's trying to capitalize on the success of Joker. I know, technically, some people could argue that the filming of this movie, and especially the writing, came way before the Joaquin Phoenix movie, but it does feel like it does lean towards that kind of direction, and it is trying to capitalize on the whole we live in a society trend and stuff like that. So, I don't know, I'm gonna, like, hold back from, like, fully praising it and, like, fully admitting that, like, oh yeah, this is gonna be great or stuff like that. And one thing that will hold me back no matter what on this movie to say that yes, this is good or yes, this is bad or anything like that, like, the one thing that holds me back from being more optimistic from it is the fact that this is a Disney live action remake. And not to mention that trailers can often be very deceiving. And yeah, I know that sometimes with Disney, their trailers can be like, they can be good and sometimes they can be not so good. And often when it comes to the trailers to their live action remakes, sometimes they can actually do very well, perhaps even a little too well, down to the point where the trailers end up becoming way better than the movies themselves. And if you don't believe me, try to remember what happened last time with the live-action remake of Mulan. Yes, the trailers were definitely awesome, but the movie itself, not so much. So that's why I'm kind of holding back. That's why I'm more in a mood of wait and see. But I am glad that we are starting to see a bit more of Cruella, and considering that it is coming soon, since it does have a release date of May 28th, I believe that's what it says. Hold on a sec. Yeah, it says in big numbers on May 28th. So I guess ultimately we will have to wait and see with how things go with this adaptation of Cruella. All right, so with that said, now I think it is time that we shall go and jump onto the chat wall, and I want to ask you all, what do you think of the trailer for Cruella? Is it something that you guys would definitely be interested in checking out? Do you feel like this trailer is great? Do you guys feel like it's a little too jokery? Let me know what you think on this one. All right. Let's see what we got here. What? Alright, so one of them says, well, this is a bizarre trailer, basically making Cruella into Harley Quinn. Although, I would not be surprised if dumb white guys on the internet are complaining like, oh, this movie supports SJWs, and not then realize, wait, isn't she a puppy killer? Truly, these people sure have priorities. I mean, I don't know, I'll be real, I don't know if I have seen those kinds of comments already going into the whole SJW route and stuff like that, but I don't know. Again, this is something that I have seen like a whole bunch of different reactions. Like, some people like it, some people might not, some people think it's a Joker ripoff, so like, I don't know, it's just, this is one of those trailers that's getting a variety of reactions. Let's see what else we have here. I got to say, this looks pretty good. I like the new take on Cruella, being like a 70s, 80s chick with a twist, and filled with that devilish touch that does feel like what Cruella should be in a modern sense. The production design looks great, the action scenes and music are good. However, that's the trailer, and we're just going to have to wait when the film comes out. By the way, what's your opinion on the 1996 film? In my opinion, it's pretty good. Well, I would say a little mixed on that, I'm not gonna lie. I have more complex thoughts on it, but that'll be for another day. Anyways, it's alright, I guess. It's not all that great considering the fact that it's too similar to Joker, but it's fine. This trailer to be decent, with a nice presentation and good performance with Emma Stone. I'm a bit skeptical about this, but has a bit promise, I guess. Alright, so another person has a wait-and-see attitude. Let's see. This movie looks great! Emma Stone does a good job as Cruella, the visuals look spectacular, and I love that it's an original story and not a straightforward remake of 101 Dalmatians. I hope this film does trick people with a trailer like with... Oh, I hope this film doesn't trick people with this trailer like with Mulan. Also, can we please get a cameo from Glenn Close in the film? That'd be great. Oh, I don't know if they would like save that until like the movie would be released, but that would be interesting if they would try to do that. Let's see what else we got here. This trailer honestly has me a little curious. I like the costume design. Stone's performance is pretty solid, and the tone feels like it's going down the same ilk as Joker. Then again, I did like that movie, so I'll probably like this. But if they take the Maleficent route and turn Cruella into a fairy godmother, I'm gonna be disappointed. Also, this is off topic, but that's a weird shirt. Oh, thank you. I got this one as part of like a major package of like a massive Weird Al collection. I just couldn't say no to that. Anyways, yeah, I definitely do agree with you. And that's also another thing that is worth commenting on, considering that this is going to lean more into the world of fashion. Of course, they really have to go and emphasize the costuming on this one. I wouldn't be surprised if next year we're going to hear about Cruella again when it gets nominated for Best Costume Design, or maybe even win it. But costume is definitely, or, well, not costume, but I mean fashion is definitely a major theme for this movie and a major theme for Cruella. So I wouldn't be surprised if if the costuming definitely stepped up its level, like decided to go and level up its game in order to go and present Cruella as a way that she would be like a fashion icon or something like that. Let's see what else we got here. I have to say, I'm really fascinated by this movie, mainly because it feels and looks nothing like any other Disney movie in terms of story and style. And Emma Stone does seem like a good fit for the role of Cruella so far. I just hope that the movie is not about making Cruella a good guy like Maleficent, but more like showing us how they became who they are like Joker and Wicked. Well, it seems like it could be the direction that they are going with. At least that's according to the trailer, but who knows? Maybe they'll learn about their mistakes from what they've done with Maleficent and try to improve on that. I'll go and read one more comment before we jump into the next story now. This was certainly an interesting trailer. Personally, I'm very mixed. On one hand, Emma Stone does a great job as Cruella, and at least it's not making the story stupid like Maleficent. But on the other hand, I am really getting some major Joker vibes, and Emma Stone has some major competition against Glenn Close as the best live-action Cruella de Vil. Also, I'm wondering if this film is coming to the Disney Plus or still being released in theaters because it doesn't say it in the trailer. Yeah, that is true. I mean, it is still a little too early to determine what Disney is going to do. Maybe they would end up taking the same route as Raya and the Last Dragon. Maybe they'll just put it exclusively in theaters. It really does depend on how things are with the pandemic. So far, as I'm recording this, things do seem to get a little bit better as numbers are starting to drop in several places of the world, especially in places like Canada and the United States. So that is a pleasant sight to see. So that is some good news that we are getting, but that doesn't necessarily mean we are out of the woods yet. We still need to go and make sure that we would all get the vaccine first before that we could determine that it is safe to actually go into theaters. So that is also going to be something that we would have to wait and see. But anyways, going back to Cruella, if you guys are interested in checking that out, just remember that the movie is going to be coming out on May 28th. Okay, now, moving right along to the next story that I have here, we're going to talk about what's probably the biggest thing that happened yesterday, or the day before that I am recording this, which is the long-awaited moment of the Muppet Show finally coming to Disney Plus. Now, this has been long anticipated by millions of fans around the world, and not to mention that there are a lot of people that once considered that, it does, it's something that they never thought it would actually happen because it would just be way too complicated, especially with all the different copyright laws to ensure that they could properly present the Muppet Show onto Disney Plus. But that time has finally come. The Muppet Show is finally on Disney Plus, and people are happily watching it. But the question still remains, though. Even if Disney did put up all 5 seasons on The Muppet Show, do we have everything intact? Is it exactly like how it was on television and now just put onto Disney Plus? Well, to that I would have to say, not really, because it is still important to note that not everything did appear on Disney Plus. And the proof of this is actually on the website toughpigs.com. You guys probably know Tough Pigs as the biggest, or at least one of the biggest websites dedicated to the Muppet fandom. In a way, a lot of people use it as kind of like the unofficial Muppet website where they would go and get all their news related to the Muppets, to Sesame Street, and all other Jim Henson projects that would come out nowadays, including Fraggle Rock or The Dark Crystal. So, of course, the website is absolutely excited of the fact that The Muppet Show did appear on Disney+. However, they did actually do some immediate research, and they did discover that there are a few things that are actually missing with the Muppet Show on Disney Plus. Number one being the fact that there are a couple of episodes, like a couple of entire episodes, that are not on Disney Plus. Number one being the Brooke Shields episode, and if you guys don't know, the Brooke Shield episode is a little bit more unique than the typical Muppet Show episode, where it's not just a bunch of segments and in between them there would be a little story. This one is just entirely dedicated to adapting the Lewis Carroll story of Alice in Wonderland. And it states here, reading from my source on toughpigs.com, it states, the first missing episode is Brooke Shields. Despite being previously released on the non-Disney Time Life Best of the Muppet Show set, there were music rights issues that kept it from appearing on Disney+. Since Disney chose to remove the episode entirely rather than release an edited version, we're holding our hope that they're continuing to try and secure the rights, so it may be added at a later date. Excuse me. And like I said before, with the Brooke Shields episode, considering that it is a little bit more unique, where it is more of a full story, all intertwined together, it's hard to pretty much break it up and try to edit it without it. It's really the kind of episode where one piece has to connect with the other, otherwise the puzzle would just be incomplete and everything just falls apart. So it's for the best right now to wait until they can secure the rights so that they could actually go and release the episode properly onto Disney+. Another episode that is noted to not be there is the Charles Langham episode, and unlike the last one, Disney did not comment to them about why they removed it. However, all it takes is just a little bit of research on who Chris Langham is, and you would immediately understand why Disney would not put up the episode entirely. I think, honestly, it would probably be for the best to just step away from actually airing the episode with the guy in it. Even though a lot of people would say that the episode was a lot of fun to watch, it's definitely an enjoyable episode, and I do agree as well. It is definitely a solid episode, but it's probably for the best that we don't put up something with someone like Chris Langham, because I'm just gonna say that dude is just full of yikes. He has a whole computer file filled with just so much yikes that put him in prison. I'm not going to go into detail, but I'll just leave it at that. But those are pretty much the two episodes that are not on Disney Plus right now. And there have been reports that maybe in places like Europe, there are a couple of episodes in which they might not be there. Like only a few regions might not have a few more episodes. Apparently, they even state that in Europe, there is a chance that they don't have the John Denver and Spike Milligan episode. So there is a possibility that not all the episodes are all in there, depending on the country. Like maybe the US version might have some, and the European version or the Asian version might not have any. But at the same time, on top of missing episodes, of course, there would be a few missing segments as well. And we actually do have a bit of a list here from a dozen of episodes. And from Tough Pigs, apparently they stated that Bernadette Peters does not have They Call the Wind Maria and I'm Five. Don Knotts does not have a Lullaby of Birdland, along with any of the scenes that would mention it. Cheryl Ladd doesn't have There's a New Sound. There's Danny Kaye with Jogging. Roger Miller doesn't have Down at the Old Bull and Bush. Anne Murray doesn't have Dancing on the Ceiling. James Corburn doesn't have Birdwalk. Tony Randall doesn't have Tippy Tin. Hal Linden doesn't have If I Ruled the World. Wally Bogue doesn't have the Ying Tong Song. Buddy Rich doesn't have A Transport of Delight, and Marty Feldman does not have the Sesame Street theme song. So those are all the ones that are not on the Muppet Show. It's just a dozen or just around a dozen segments and a couple of episodes that are not on Disney Plus due to like copyright issues, or in one instance because of very controversial issues. And I'm just going to state right now that, to be very honest, I'm really not that surprised that this happened. I'm not surprised that Disney did not come out like 100% clean and like they managed to secure all the rights and are able to go and put literally everything out. Because as you guys probably know, this is the biggest reason why it's been so long since Disney Plus's release that Disney had yet to go and actually release the Muppet Show onto Disney Plus. It had to do with copyright. With the Muppet Show, what they do is that they always sing copywritten songs. Like that's pretty much their specialty, where they would go and take rather it be some modern hits at the time, like during the late 70s and early 80s, or they would go with like turn of the century classics, or even like old vaudeville and old Broadway songs. They would go and actually sing that. So you can imagine how the copyright laws can be just an absolute mess and just all over the place, where they can't just secure it in just one little area. They got to go and like jump from left to right, go and contact so many different law firms, so many different record companies to ensure that they can have the streaming rights to go and actually present the song that appeared during the segment of the Muppet Show. It took a lot of time. And I mean, keep in mind, with the Muppet Show, for each episode, there would be like several songs that they would sing, like maybe 6, 7, or even 8 of them all at once. So you can imagine it would take a lot of time to make sure the rights are secure. They had to deal with like hundreds of rights, if not like probably over 1,000 or even 2,000, like somewhere around that area. So it was extremely hard work for Disney to go and actually secure all those rights. However, it's not really that surprising of the fact that not all the rights would be managed to get secured. They can't get everything connected together. And of course, there would be a few instances where they would end up with a few no's along the way, which is exactly the case where we see a lot of the segments not being there, or even one song or maybe 2 songs that they weren't able to manage to get, so they decided ultimately to just not air the one episode altogether, which is the case of Brooke Shields. So it's not really that surprising, because it really was such a massively daunting task that Disney had to take in order to ensure that the Muppet Show can appear on Disney Plus in the first place. So yeah, I'm not like, honestly, it should be something that is to be expected. But with that said, though, does that mean that I am a little bit upset that Disney did not come out 100% perfect with this? Am I upset that Disney did not put literally everything from the Muppet Show onto Disney Plus? Honestly, hell no. Absolutely not. I am more than happy, and in fact, I would even say that I am ecstatic of the fact that Disney put out the most of the Muppet Show as possible. In fact, even on toughpigs.com, it actually states that approximately more than 97% of the original Muppet Show is on Disney Plus right now. And you gotta keep in mind about something, that when it comes to the Muppet Show, we're talking about a big series. Like, this is actually a pretty big show. We're talking about a series with 5 seasons and a total of 120 episodes. Like, that's actually a whole lot when you do think about it. So you can imagine the amount of like I said before, you can imagine the amount of copyright deals that Disney had to make with so many different music, record, and copyright companies. Like, they got to go through so much. And the fact that they're able to come out with as much as they already did, like securing about 97% of the entire Muppet Show and put it on Disney Plus, that is freaking amazing. Like that, like we're not talking about a great job. We're talking about near perfect right here. This is something this is like close to perfection. And this is like the closest that people could get in terms of getting the original Muppet Show from before. Yes, there are several segments that are missing, but I don't know if you have noticed, but most of them actually are from the original UK spot. In fact, I would even say about half of them are actually from the UK segments. And for those of you who don't know, there actually is a difference between the UK airing of the Muppet Show and the US airing of the Muppet Show, because in the UK one, it's a little bit longer because they do add one extra segment on top of the regular episode that they would have, because you guys know in the US, like when you would put on a half hour episode, that would actually be 22 minutes because you still need time for the commercials. But in the UK, there's less time for commercials, so that means more time for the content itself. So, excuse me. That pretty much means that, of course, that would give the people at the Jim Henson Company more material that they would have to work on those individual episodes. So they would have to make a little bit more than usual. And then afterwards, they would have to cut it down a little bit, like sacrifice that one so that they could go and put it onto the US. So for Americans, it's not really that much of a sacrifice anyways. It's just like a few little bonus content that maybe they would have to go and look up online to see if they can get their full experience of the episodes. And honestly, that's how it is right now. It feels like for those people who need to have those extra those extra segments and watch those extra episodes, like that's where you're at the point where you're into a completionist level. But you could still go and watch all these episodes on the Muppet Show and still get some very solid entertainment. Not to mention that the quality that they did come out with the Muppet Show on Disney Plus, it looks absolutely great. Like it does look beautiful and it looks crystal clear. It's honestly quite impressive. And not to mention, one thing that I do have to say is the fact that, considering that for Disney Plus, they came out with around like 97%, right? Like over 97% of the entire original series can be found on Disney Plus. That is honestly a way better job than the DVDs. Like even with just like season 1, 2, and 3, it actually happens quite frequently where there have been some missing segments like here and there. Like one great example that I can think of is actually the Vincent Price episode. There was actually a segment on the DVD where they actually did cut out, where it's Vincent Price like at his most ghoulish, but he and a bunch of monsters would pop out and they would all sing "You Got a Friend." And unfortunately, that segment was cut out on the DVD. However, you could go on Disney Plus right now and you could watch the episode in full, in its entirety, uncut, and like completely completely in its original state. So that's one thing. So that's one thing that is actually admirable, is that not only Disney managed to like secure all these rights, but they even managed to do a much better job than they previously did almost 2 decades ago when working on those season DVDs. So overall for me, I'm really looking at the bright side of this. I'm looking at the big picture of it all, where essentially I think Disney did quite a phenomenal job with restoring almost everything from the Muppet Show and putting it all on Disney Plus so that old audiences can revisit the magic of the Muppet Show, and for new audiences to rediscover, for new audiences to learn more about the Muppet Show. I honestly feel great that we got the Muppet Show as it is. Yeah, not everything is in there, but I do feel like, considering that this was like a massive, tough battle with copyright laws, it is a little bit expected that not everything would appear on Disney Plus, but there is also a bit of a bright side to that as well. Like, even though Disney might not have secured the rights now, that doesn't mean that they won't come back later. Like, maybe like there will be another day where Disney might secure some of those music rights, and those segments might actually reappear on the Muppet Show. Not to mention maybe even bringing up the Brooke Shields episode and putting it on Disney Plus. They could actually go and do that. So overall, honestly, I congratulate the people at Disney for doing such a beautiful and great job with bringing the Muppet Show back onto Disney Plus. I can understand that it's a very difficult task in order to do so, but at least they managed to come out with the most that they possibly can. And what the most that they could do is honestly near perfect. And that, for me, I feel more than satisfied with. I feel completely happy. And honestly, I just can't wait to just revisit more episodes of The Muppet Show on Disney Plus. So, yeah, honestly, I think Disney did a great job on that. Okay, so with that said, I'd like to go into the chat wall, and I want to ask you all, how do you feel about the missing segments of the Muppet Show, or the missing episodes and stuff like that? Are you a little bit disappointed that not everything on the Muppet Show has appeared on Disney Plus? Are you guys satisfied with the fact that over 97% is on Disney Plus? Let me know what you think on this one. Let's see now. What do we got here? I honestly don't know how to feel about this, but what I do know is that in Europe, aside from Shields and Langham, the John Denver and Spike Milligan episodes are also absent in the European version of Disney Plus, as I did mention, yes. At least The Muppet Show is a show that doesn't rely on continuity and can still be enjoyed even with a few missing pieces. Unlike some shows that do have some episodes banned, despite being crucial to the storyline, like the Tauros episode from Pokemon. Yeah, that is true. And there is one thing that you do have to keep in mind, that technically Disney is no stranger when it comes to not airing all the episodes for different reasons, whether they be due to copyright laws or because of controversial reasons. In fact, not all the episodes of The Simpsons are on Disney Plus. You guys might remember the Michael Jackson episode is actually not on Disney Plus, and that was actually not a decision by Disney. That was actually a decision made by the Simpsons creators back during the height of the Michael Jackson controversy when that one documentary was released. I mean, I know we all moved on from that, but that is an example where Disney Plus does have its moments where they can't put up literally all the episodes due to different reasons, whether they be for copyright or because of controversy. Let's see what else we got here. I understand these removals on Disney Plus's behalf, especially Chris Langham. I also have to note that the Jonathan Winters episode, and maybe others, I don't know, has a warning about racial stereotypes, so they're taking a lot of steps here. Also, I love how a section from Marty Feldman's episode can't have the Sesame Street theme, but an episode with Victorious could be used just fine. Look it up. The scene is actually hilarious. Oh, I know what you're talking about, and like, I don't blame you right there. And you know, that's actually kind of funny that they can't actually have the theme be present on the Muppet Show, and yet there are still some Sesame Street characters that do appear on the Muppet Show and are still on Disney Plus. In season 1, there is one episode where you actually do get a special appearance from Ernie and Bert, and there is also another episode where Big Bird is also a special guest star. So it's kind of funny. It's like, yeah, Disney can get away with some Sesame Street stuff, but not all the Sesame Street stuff. Like, they have yet to try to secure the rights of the theme. So I don't know. I just find that a little bit funny that like the one set, like they almost got away with getting some Sesame Street onto Disney Plus, but not all though. Okay. Let's see what we got here. Really, I've got mixed feelings about this. I'm ecstatic that The Muppet Show is now on Disney Plus and that I can watch almost the entire run. But I'm also disappointed that they couldn't show certain episodes, but I'm not surprised. But I will say that it's a good way of exposing new generations of kids to the Muppets, and we may have the opportunity for some potential Muppeteers. Kudos to Disney. And yes, the one thing I might as well just say right now that I do feel like it is very much important for me to go and highlight this story, to go and talk about this, because I just want to say that, like, if you guys have yet to do so, please go and watch The Muppet Show on Disney Plus. Not only is it a really, really good show, but it's also a way to support the Muppets, to show Disney that there is a high interest for more Muppet content and that people really do love the Muppets. So hopefully by more people watching The Muppet Show, it'll encourage Disney to go and make more Muppet content and to keep the Muppet legacy alive, that hopefully that Disney will do a little bit more with the Muppets than just with Muppets Now or something like that. So it's just something I want to go and emphasize. Let's see. I still have yet to check out The Muppet Show. Glad most of it will be there, but at least one episode is for the best. Though I am quite hyped. Do so, dude. Absolutely, go and check it out. Not to mention, I know this might sound like a shameless plug, but one thing that I want to say, if this can encourage you to go and check out The Muppet Show on Disney Plus, you could actually watch the episodes with me, because you guys might remember back in 2016 and 2017, I actually did an entire vlog series called The Muppet Vlog, where I actually went and reviewed each and every single episode of The Muppet Show, all 120 of them, plus a few bonuses as well, like a few extra little reviews, like for the pilots, even like full season reviews, and all that kind of stuff. So it very much is worth, if this can encourage you to go and watch The Muppet Show on Disney Plus, I highly encourage you to go and do so. And if you need a little bit of extra help to know which episodes you want to go and check out, which ones are considered the best, I actually did do a list of the top 10 best episodes of The Muppet Show that you can go and check out on YouTube right now. In fact, I think I started to notice that the popularity of that video has started to grow significantly up, actually. Like, I started to notice that there's a bit more views than usual on that video. So yeah, thanks Disney Plus for helping me to help give me that boost. All right, what else do we have here? What other comments? I am definitely excited. I'm about to watch the Christopher Reeves episode twice. Oh, I watched the Christopher Reeves episode twice yesterday, but who upset the Disney didn't say most of the Muppet Show episodes on your Disney Plus. Instead, they said all, and that is a bit of a mess marketing number. But but still very glad to see them there. But I do wonder if the episodes are controversial, and they could just put a disclaimer on there like Warner Brothers did with Gone with the Wind for HBO Max, so it could be nice to have the episodes either way. Okay, well, two things that I just want to say right there. Number one, I mean, it's unfortunate that we don't have literally all the episodes, but you gotta keep in mind, it's literally just 2 episodes missing, or in some places in Europe, it's 4 episodes missing. And 118 episodes out of 120 episodes is still definitely an amazing score. And as for the whole Chris Langham controversy, yeah, you honestly need to go and look him up. You need to go and look up why Disney refused to put up the episode, because yeah, it's not the kind of controversy you may think. It's not the same kind that can be solved with a little disclaimer saying that, oh, there might be a few little offensive things. No, you can't do that. It's just, considering the guy's controversy, it's for the best to just skip the episode entirely. I mean, it was a fun episode, but it's worth the sacrifice. Okay. Anyways, I'll read one more comment before we jump into the next story right here. Do we have another? Okay, yeah. Let's see. I've only seen season 1 on DVD and watched all the episodes on the set, including the pilot. Also, if you have seen the show on Disney Plus, at the end of each episode, do they change the logos from ITC or Henson Associate to Jim Henson Productions via a plaster, or were the original credits intact? That is actually a good question. I think from what I've seen, honestly, if I can remember, I think like they did do a bit of that switch. I don't think it's like the original productions. I think they did switch it up to just Jim Henson Productions. It's pretty much a bit similar to maybe a bit similar to what they did with the DVDs, maybe. But yeah, I think at the end it says Jim Henson Productions. So it's just to emphasize that. I believe so. I'll have to double check, which does give me a good excuse to watch another Muppet Show episode on Disney Plus. But yeah, I think that could be the case. But again, this is all to point out. Please go and watch the Muppet Show on Disney Plus. Again, it's a really great show. And it would be amazing if we can tell Disney that we want more Muppet content. And this is the perfect opportunity to go and do so. Okay, so moving on to the next story that we have here. Let's actually get into some real animation news. Let's actually talk about some cartoons in this crazy cartoon cast. And for this one, for our next story, what I'm going to be talking about is going to be something that a lot of people have pointed to me that Cartoon Network already made this big announcement that they are going to do. You might have remembered one of the top executives had an interview, and they actually did mention that they are going to be heading towards a new direction with Cartoon Network. Well, not necessarily a new direction, but they want to try to go and diverse the focus. You know, not do it for the same type of audience that they usually would do. Cartoon Network already expressed that they want to try to make more shows that would be geared more towards girls, and especially they want to try to really get back into the preschool game. And that did get a lot of people in the cartoon and animation community really talking. And a lot of people were a little bit upset that I didn't really... Oh, excuse me, folks. Oh boy, that is just my lunch trying to make a comeback. But anyways, a lot of people did get a little bit upset that I didn't really have a chance to go and talk about it in full in the podcast. But then again, there really wasn't a whole lot to talk about at that time. Until now, when this week, Cartoon Network or more specifically Warner Brothers, really laid down their plans on what they want to do with the preschool shows. And what I am going to be talking about is regarding Cartoonito. Yes, Warner Brothers has officially made the announcement that they are going to be starting a brand new preschool block called Cartoonito, both for Cartoon Network and for HBO Max. And they are ambitious when it comes to starting this preschool block, down to the point where they even stated that by 2023, they want to make sure they can have around 50 original shows aimed for preschoolers. And of course, you probably know that there have already been several that have been announced. One of which you probably see this picture here is called Mecha Builders, which is an animated Sesame Street spin-off in which characters such as Elmo and Cookie Monster all appear as giant mecha robots, where they're all going around the streets and they're just giant robots. That's basically the whole premise of Mecha Builders. Is it Mecha Builders, by the way? I just want to double check on the name. Yeah. It's actually called Mecha Builders, along with other shows such as Esme and Roy. And there are already some stuff that HBO Max already has, including, of course, Sesame Street, and even the Not Too Late Show with Elmo. And on top of that, they even did mention that they are bringing up some shows that has already been announced before, one of which being Bat Wheels, which you guys know is the preschool spinoff to the DC superheroes, in which we actually do focus on the living vehicles of the superheroes, featuring a whole bunch of them from Batman himself. And on top of that, just a little bit of a side note, by the way, that not just with Cartoonito, but they are thinking a bit of a rebrand with Cartoon Network that would be all around the tagline, Redraw Your World, where that's going to be the new marketing strategy with Cartoon Network. The new, kind of like the new image of Cartoon Network, the new tagline, the new motto, and that's going to be the new image of Cartoon Network that they are going to go and try to really emphasize the world of Cartoon Network and what kind of content they want to deliver, and especially who it's geared for. Like, to really go and make it as diverse as possible, not just for kids, but also for preschoolers and even a bit for adults and for the kid at heart as well. But with all that said, though, what about some of the new stuff for Cartoonito? What are some of the major projects that are going to be coming for this cartoon block? Well, at that point, they actually did reveal so many major projects. Let me go onto my list on Deadline, and it states here that when it comes to Cartoonito, the stuff that they have revealed include Bee's Block, which is going to be a new series from Sesame Workshop. We also got Bugs Bunny Builders, which is a brand new preschool series featuring the Looney Tunes characters like Bugs Bunny, Lola, Daffy Duck, Porky Pig, and Tweety, where now they all have to work together in a construction site, where that's basically the big premise. It's a preschool show where the Looney Tunes characters are working as construction workers. That's the big thing about that. We don't really know a whole lot more about that. We don't even have clips yet. We only have a few images, but that's pretty much it. Another new series that we have is going to be Jessica's Big Little World, which is actually a preschool spin-off to Craig of the Creek, starring Craig's little sister, Jessica. On top of that, we also got another new spin-off series, which is going to be Tom and Jerry Jr. And with Tom and Jerry Jr., it's basically the same thing as Tom and Jerry. You got your same little Tom and Jerry shenanigans, except there's going to be an extra educational value. So, on top of seeing Tom getting splat, getting hit, and just like screaming to the high heavens and stuff like that, you're also going to learn things like 2 + 2 and ABC. And then also we do have some other shows as well, including Lady Bird Lou, and also Mush Mush and the Mushables, and of course, who could not forget the ever so infamous Thomas and Friends All Engines Go, which, yes, that is the elusive season 25 of Thomas and Friends that the community is oh so enraging about. And I do kind of find it funny with the new name of Thomas and Friends All Engines Go, because pretty much the series is now just completely shameless when it comes to trying to really capitalize on the success of Teen Titans Go. All right, but that's just with the elements of Cartoonito. At the same time, however, Warner Brothers did reveal a whole bunch of new animated content for both HBO Max and Cartoon Network. And funny enough, these announcements are stuff that really got the whole community freaked out about. Like, these are announcements that technically those should be more of a major highlight than Cartoonito. In a way, this week we didn't just have a Nintendo Direct, we also got a bit of a Cartoon Network Direct. So anyways, they have actually revealed, not one, not two, but 3 44-minute Ben 10 specials that are going to be coming. We also got a Season 4 of Craig of the Creek. We got a Season 2 of Gremlins, The Secret of Mogwai that's going to be coming, which I do believe they did reveal a whole bunch of new voices that are going to be coming to the series as well. A whole bunch of familiar names, actually, including Isaac Wang, Ming-Na Wen, B.D. Wong, James Hong, AJ Locasio, Gabriel Green, and Matthew Rice. And then afterwards, we got Book 4 of Infinity Train. Yes, I think it was just not too long ago, a lot of people thought that Infinity Train was canceled. A lot of people were a bit confused to why is it that there's no new season or no new book of Infinity Train. A lot of people were concerned, worried, and a bit panicky about that, but now it has been confirmed that we are going to get a Book 4 of Infinity Train. Then afterwards, we got a brand new series that apparently they stated is going to be from a talented all-female creative team that's going to be called Jade Armor. Then afterwards, we got 2 brand new seasons of Total Drama Island. Yes, the Total Drama Island you all know and love is actually going to be making a comeback. We also got a 3rd season of Victor and Valentino. And then following afterwards, we also got not just a series, well, not a series, but an Amazing World of Gumball movie. Now, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but if I may recall, apparently the final episode kind of ended off on a cliffhanger, so hopefully this could be like the big grand finale and the proper send-off to the Amazing World of Gumball. But the big thing people are emphasizing is the fact that Gumball and Darwin are indeed going to be making a comeback, not for a series, but for a full-on movie. And some people are telling me right now that apparently, yes, I am actually correct. It did end off on a cliffhanger, so hopefully this will be the grand finale of the Amazing World of Gumball. Then afterwards, we also got Family Mashup, which is said to be a combination of Brady Bunch and Pitch Perfect. Then afterwards, we got another new series called Gross Girls. Then we actually got a spin-off series, which is called Teen Titans Go! The Night Begins to Shine. So basically what we got here is a spin-off to a reboot of a series that is based on a comic book, which the comic book itself is also a spin-off to a popular series. So try to wrap your head around that. And then finally, the last thing that was announced is actually Tweety Mysteries. No, it doesn't look like it's going to be a spin-off to Sylvester and Tweety Mysteries. This is actually going to be a live-action animation hybrid, and this is actually going to be featuring, in fact, I don't know if Sylvester is even going to be there. Like, maybe he will, but, for sure, unfortunately, Granny won't be in the series because apparently, actually, I'm going to read a little bit here. It says that it's going to follow a curious tween investigative journalist and podcaster named Sydney and her sidekick, Tweety Bird, where working together, the pair must solve various local mysteries in the small, quirky Washington state town. So, that's all the major announcements that Warner Brothers has made for both HBO Max and Cartoon Network. There's a whole bunch of those major announcements that people are excited and freaked out about, but the biggest one to go and emphasize is Cartoonito. Now, I know that there are a lot of people who already gave a massive backlash towards Cartoon Network, especially with this idea of Cartoonito, especially regarding the fact that back in 2005, they tried to go and do their own little preschool block. You guys might remember back in 2005, there was something called Tickle You. And I'm going to say right now, Tickle You really did not last long. It lasted only for a few months. It started in the fall, and then by December, it was just flat out gone. It just did not work for Cartoon Network. However, one thing that I'm going to say here is that things are going to be working out differently, and I think there might be a chance that Cartoonito will last longer than Tickle You. And the reason why I say this is because this is not just for Cartoon Network. This is for HBO Max. In fact, I could even go as far and say that this isn't really for Cartoon Network. It's more like, it just so happens that Cartoon Network was just there and they decided, okay, we'll just give it to you too. And honestly, I got a feeling that when it comes to Warner Brothers, they could not care less about how Cartoonito will do on Cartoon Network. It could fail miserably. It could even last as long as Tickle You, and they could just not care. But the thing is, that is not the point of it. It's not to give Cartoon Network a preschool block. It's to give HBO Max a preschool block. It's to go and give them more preschool content so that they could really go and sell HBO Max to new parents who have little kids that are around like 2 to 5 years old. It's meant to go and sell Cartoonito and HBO Max to them. Because right now, when it comes to the streaming services that we do have today, they're already packed when it comes to preschool content. We already got Disney Plus, in which they already filled their Disney Junior lineup and put it onto Disney Plus. And we also got Netflix, which they already got their eclectic library of and prominent library of so many different children's content that you could just find on Netflix. But when it comes to HBO Max, yes, they do have the biggest and probably the most important and greatest preschool series of all time. They have Sesame Street. But here's the thing. So far they only got Sesame Street to really go and prominently present to the market, to go and advertise that they got Sesame Street. They can't really go and just use that alone to make it appealing towards preschoolers, especially with when it comes to HBO Max. Lately, they did lean a lot more towards the adult. Like, they really want to try to emphasize heavily on presenting a whole bunch of different adult content onto HBO Max, especially the animated ones. In fact, just last week, I was just talking about how HBO Max just picked up Clone High, as well as trying to develop a brand new Velma series starring Mindy Kaling. But even though, like, yeah, they got a whole bunch of adult animated content, like, they focus so much on that, it is time that they would go and shift their focus onto preschoolers. Because, yeah, with the adult content, they got it all set. They got the new stuff that's going to be coming. They got their entire Adult Swim lineup. And, of course, not to mention that they got freaking South Park. So they don't need to really go and continuously grow their adult animation lineup. They need to also shift the focus on another market so that they could also, like, really give out more content for them, which is why they're also going to bring out Cartoonito and bring preschoolers, kind of like go in 180 in terms of the market that they want to try to appeal. So it's not just for adults, but also for little children as well, which is why we are seeing a whole bunch of new content that's going to be coming out there. That's why we see, debatably, that Warner Brothers is a lot more serious when it comes to developing children's content or preschool content, more so than they were back with Tickle You. And of course, they're really emphasizing this with a bunch of their recognizable brands. That's why we do see a lot of shows that are actually based on many of their popular characters, such as Bugs Bunny Builders, Tom and Jerry Jr., Jessica's Big Little World, even bring in, okay, maybe not necessarily for HBO Max, but technically, like, even for Cartoon Network, bringing in Thomas the Tank Engine. Like, they really want to go and try to, like, they really want to be serious now with entering into the preschool market, and maybe even be, like, maybe even try to show some competition against Wild Brain, for example. But that's just for Cartoonito. Like, now we do understand a little bit of that. But I will say, like, I know I already said this, but it is kind of funny to see how, like, Cartoon Network kind of glanced over the other stuff that they have announced, which normally would be a massively big deal. They would be like major headlines in themselves, especially when it comes to Infinity Train Book 4, which, like I said, has been massively rumored to have been canceled. At least this is a way to prove them wrong. And then there's also The Amazing World of Gumball movie, which Cartoon Network making another movie should have been a big deal in themselves, especially with the fact that it's not just the fact that they're making another movie based on one of their popular shows, but also the fact that it's the freaking Amazing World of Gumball. It's the fact that Gumball and Darwin and the whole gang are actually going to be making a comeback. So that's also another major thing to go and highlight. Not to mention, like, the comeback of other seasons and stuff like that. There really is such a massive announcement that I feel like they're really trying to make Cartoonito overshadow, in a sense, but it is still very important to go and highlight. So I would say overall, with all these announcements, it's kind of an interesting direction that Cartoon Network is taking. That, yes, they're trying to go into a brand new market, and the main purpose of that is to really go and really expand their horizons and to really expand the content that they could deliver onto HBO Max, as well as trying to tap into a market that they have glanced over the years, but now it is time that they're going to be fully serious onto that. But at the same time, some fan favorites have definitely returned as well. So it is nice to see that at least Cartoon Network is listening to the fan base. They are listening to the community, and they are going to try to go and deliver the most that they possibly can, especially with the stuff that people already love, with stuff like Craig of the Creek and Victor and Valentino, as well as the new content that people are excited for, especially with more Infinity Train and especially with more Gumball in the form of a movie. So we'll wait and see how this goes. They stated that apparently all this is going to try to set off sometime like either in the summer or in the fall, but we are starting to see Warner Brothers really heading towards a bit of a new direction, especially with the way that HBO Max is encouraging them to go and try new things with animation. All right, so with that said and done, I would like to go into the chat wall, and I would like to ask you all, what do you think about all these announcements that Warner Brothers has done with Cartoonito and the new things that are coming both on HBO Max and Cartoon Network? What are some of the things that you are excited about, and how do you feel about the whole Cartoonito plan? Do you think it's going to work out, or do you think it'll be as much of a disaster as Tickle You? Let me know what you think. All right, let's see what we got here. I'm not sure about this. The last time Cartoon Network did it resulted with Tickle You, and let's just say that didn't end well. I may not have grown up with Tickle You because I'm Canadian, but I'm not sure Cartoonito will work. What's next? Is Cartoon Network going to bring back the live action and network nah? Of course not. It's Cartoon Network after all, am I right? They're not going to be like Kronk and pull the wrong lever, right? Well, again, I just need to go and emphasize this, that it's not really for Cartoon Network. They don't really care with how things are going to go with Cartoon Network because it's more for HBO Max. If Cartoonito can be a hit on HBO Max and it could still end up becoming a disaster for Cartoon Network, then honestly, Warner Brothers couldn't care less. Because the thing is that HBO Max is more of a priority than Cartoon Network right now. And if they can deliver the content for HBO Max, then they already did their job. Like, the fact that Cartoonito is coming to Cartoon Network, that's just a compliment. You know, that's just like, that's just like a coincidence and just a little convenience. Like, hey, let's go and also put it on cable television. Let's see how that works out. So, like, it's more just to please the traditionalist than anything. But really, the big goal that you need to remember is that it is more for HBO Max than it is for Cartoon Network. All right, let's see what else do we have. I'm very interested to see how this works out. For me, my most anticipated content is Infinity Train Book 4 and the upcoming Gumball movie. And at least HBO Max will have more exclusive content and not just stupid, dark, and gritty director's cut that no one asked for. Also, hopefully this won't be as big of a disaster as CN Real. Well, we'll see. I mean, like, HBO Max is still brand new territory for Warner Brothers, so there is a possibility that maybe it could work out, maybe not. I know I'm saying that, like, technically HBO Max is more of a priority, but that's still an experimental thing. It's not even a year old yet. What else do we got here? Let's see. Yes. The first ever Cartoon Network Direct led to some fine announcements. The Gumball movie sounds great. The Tweety Show sounds kind of fun. And I like how they're taking the best thing to come out of Teen Titans Go, yes, including the movie, and adapting it into a full show. A part of me does wonder if the Gumball movie will just be 90 minutes of Alan shoving an eggplant up his air hole. No, actually, you know what I would actually enjoy? Like, why not actually, like, let's make it actually about Richard, and let's just make it 90 minutes of that little dream sequence of him going, I'm a bun, I'm a tasty, tasty bun, you can have your with bread, you can have your with bun. You know that, you guys probably know that little song, that little song, but oh my god, that's just funny, man. Like, so sometimes, like, I like, there are moments where I feel like I can connect sometimes with Darwin and Gumball, but there are a lot of times I could definitely connect with Richard. Okay, let's see what else we got here. I'm not sure if this is a good idea to rebrand Cartoon Network with preschool content, because you know what happened with the 2000s of preschool shows that aired on Cartoon Network. But I am excited for Infinity Train Book 4, Gremlins, and the Amazing World of Gumball movie coming to Cartoon Network. And I do enjoy Total Drama Island, but I'm not sure about reviving it. Also, why another Teen Titans Go series? Hopefully Cartoon Network will still stand out as the top cartoon channel for kids. Again, just to emphasize that maybe things will work out for Cartoon Network, maybe it will not, but again, it's not for Cartoon Network. This is more for HBO Max. And as for another Teen Titans Go series, you can hate it all you want, you can like it all you want, but regardless how you feel, it's still a very popular show, and it's still doing extremely well, not just for Cartoon Network, but for streaming services like for Netflix and HBO Max. I mean, it's popular, and a lot of people are consuming the show. So, I mean, what else do you expect? Like, what else do you want me to say? Yeah, maybe you don't like the show, but that doesn't mean it should end right now, because a lot of other people really do like it. And yeah, people are very vocal to say that they hate it, but obviously, if the show is still going on to this day, then that's probably just a very vocal minority. Let's see, what else do we have here? What other comments should we see? Where do we have? Tom McGillis, the president of Fresh TV, has stated in a Reddit AMA that Netflix has the power to renew Total Drama, the popular reality TV spoof originally on Cartoon Network. We believe that this is the last chance we have to show the creators that there is still a huge audience for the show, and having Netflix pick it up for future seasons would be our final opportunity for the show to stay alive. Well, I mean, there are 2 new seasons for it, so it is still staying alive, I guess. Anyways, what else do we have here? I'm just excited for Total Drama, Book 4, and Gremlins. HBO Max are really trying to make a massive animation powerhouse similar to Netflix and Disney, but hey, more cartoons for me. I just can't wait to see them experiment. It's been a long time since Total Drama had new episodes. This will mark as the longest running cartoon in Canada. That is definitely true there. You do bring up a good point. All right, I'll read 2 more comments, and then we're going to jump into the next story. Honestly, nothing here really appeals to me. I used to be a Ben 10 fan, but I hate the reboots, so I don't really care about these new shorts. And I did get excited when I saw that there might be bringing back Sylvester and Tweety Mysteries, which I used to love, but then you said that it was going to be a live action and animated live action and Cartoon Network, and live action don't really go well, especially after the disastrous CN Real. Oh, live action and animation hybrid. Cartoon Network and live action don't really go well, especially after the disastrous CN Real block. Also, do we really need another Tom and Jerry Kids? I don't know, maybe learning something could add something special to the cartoons. Who knows? Anyways, one more comment. Some I look forward to seeing, while others, that's nice, but I'm going to stick with the 2000s Baby Looney Tunes, the 90s Tom and Jerry Kids, and the 90s Sylvester and Tweety Mysteries. Also, there is another show from HBO Max that got recently announced called Aquaman King of Atlantis, that people are already hating it because of its art style, is very reminiscent to another controversial cartoon by Warner Brothers, Thundercats Roar. Ah, yes, because we certainly cannot exit without at least one cartoon making the announcement that people are hating just because it has the Cal art style. Yeah, I'm not really surprised, and I haven't seen like other news sources make that announcement, but it is true that yes, there is going to be another series with Aquaman that's going to be coming out, and already people are putting crap onto the art style, but you know how it is, folks. Cartoon community gotta be cartoon community, am I right? Okay, so let's go and jump onto our next story. Which we got here is another trailer. But this time around, we're going to be talking about Warner Brothers, because lately they have been quite on a roll with the movies that they have coming out, especially with so many people right now really hyping up for Godzilla vs. Kong. However, with this one, this is going to be another major fight that already I'm starting to see a lot of people get hyped up for. Like, okay, after they get their big kaiju battle, then they can move on into the realm of video games with this kind of combat. And by the way, before I get into this, I just want to put in a big disclaimer, and I just want to put out a big warning that what we are about to see here is going to be a red band trailer, and it's going to be pretty violent. There will be some foul language, but it's really the violence that I need to go and warn you all, because some people might be a little bit squeamish. They might not handle this because, yes, in this trailer there will be a lot of blood, there will be a lot of gore, there will be a lot of body parts tearing away from their respective people, you know, tearing people from limb to limb, quite literally. So just a bit of a warning that maybe you might want to go and skip this part out because, yeah, this is gonna get violent. So, with that said, let us now go into the trailer for the upcoming video game adaptation of Mortal Kombat.
First learned about this 7 years ago. On a mission in Brazil to capture a wanted fugitive. When we got there, it tore through our unit in seconds. The target had superhuman abilities. It had the same marking you do, Cole.
It's a birthmark.
What do you mean?
He was born with it.
It's not a birthmark, Cole. It means you've been chosen.
Throughout history, different cultures all over the world reference a great tournament of champions. That dragon marking? I think it's an invitation to fight for something known. As Mortal Kombat.
These are your champions.
I'm Sonya. That's Kano.
I'm Liu Kang.
Name's Jax.
Kung Lao.
Lord Raiden. The fate of Earth is in our hands.
No matter how many of my people you put in the ground, we will not fail. Kill them.
Wins. You fucking beauty.
Oh, man, dude. And that was Mortal Kombat, which is going to be coming out both in theaters and HBO Max in April. And I gotta say, man, holy crap. Is it just me? Or are these video game-based movies getting better and better and better? Because, like, we're already starting to see the momentum already starting to rise with stuff like Detective Pikachu and then last year's Sonic the Hedgehog. And we're starting to notice that, like, even though they are based on, like, major video game icons, they're actually starting to become pretty enjoyable, and that the infamous video game curse is starting to be broken. Yeah, sure, nowadays we are still getting a bunch of, like, really terrible video game-based movies, like just recently with Monster Hunter, but we are starting to see a lot of major progress where they are starting to get a whole lot better. And this is especially the case that we are seeing, or at least with the promise that we are seeing with Mortal Kombat. Now, yes, it is true that technically this is not the first Mortal Kombat movie that came out. Beforehand, it was only decent, it was only okay, but a lot of people consider that one of the better Mortal Kombat movies. Like, even though the standards were pretty low on that one, it was still considered one of the better or even one of the best video game-based movies at its time. But nowadays, however, it looks like we are getting a full-on proper adaptation of Mortal Kombat. And I just gotta say right now, like, one of the first things that I do notice is that, yeah, what they are promising here is basically what you know and love about the games, we are bringing that in movie form. And one thing that is actually really great to see, even though I did put out a warning to people in case they don't want to see this, is actually regarding the fact that they really did emphasize the violence of it all, because that's the thing with Mortal Kombat, and that's how it is one of the most well-known fighting games of all time. It's just the way that it really goes all out with the blood, with the violence, and especially with the body parts just like tearing people each other apart. You know, it's just very much a massive gore fest with that game. And especially with the ways that, like, they would all go and attack each other, it could be brutal, but also it could be quite creative. And I think, like, we know the two major highlights of it. It's also the two most popular characters of the games, which is Sub-Zero versus Scorpion, which we did get a little bit of a taste right at the end. And there are some really cool parts that I just need to go and highlight. Like, probably one of the most memorable parts is actually, like, yeah, this moment right here, where you see, like, Sub-Zero cutting a bit of Scorpion, and then suddenly the blood that flew, he just turned that into a dagger. Like, using his own blood as a full-on weapon. Now, that's just pure badassery right here. And then, of course, they probably saved the best parts at the end, which is the classic taglines. Of course, you can't escape, like, you cannot have something from Mortal Kombat without Scorpion saying the ever so beloved lines.
Get over here!
You gotta have Scorpion, like, latch on his opponent, say get over here, and then immediately afterwards, yank him on board. Oh, that, like, definitely that's one major thing that they are highlighting is just violent fight scenes. You cannot have Mortal Kombat without some crazy violent action scenes right there. And not just that, like, you got a whole supply of them in here. Even, like, at the beginning where you got, like, one dude with a Scorpion-like weapon, or maybe that, like, maybe it is kind of like the origins of Scorpion just fighting off, like, a bunch of, like, assassins, like, just, like, knocking them down one by one, douche, douche, douche. Like, really take, like you get a promise that there's going to be a whole bunch of combat. Like, in a movie called Mortal Kombat, it is promising you a massive delivery on the combat. Not to mention, of course, all the different characters that are going to be appearing. And they do look like they have a solid backstory. And that's one thing that I do have to say that I am a little bit impressed, actually, from this trailer, is that it does look like it has a promise that it's actually it's gonna give us a legitimate movie where these characters do have a backstory and they do connect together, and there is a reason why they all have to come together and go to this one major arena in order to go and save the world. Now, I will admit, the one criticism that I do have with this is that it is a little bit cheesy. Or, no, actually, no, not a little bit. It is extremely cheesy, especially with the one part of, like, oh, you just so happen to have a birthmark that is the exact same shape as the symbol as Mortal Kombat. Well, that means you gotta be the chosen one. That I just find to be absolutely stupid. Like, come on, man. Like, you gotta go into that kind of direction. Like, I don't know. That just sounds like a thing that, like, has already been parodied numerous of times before. So, yeah, the storyline sounds like it is going to be a little bit cheesy, but I do admire that they are going to put in the effort of taking these popular characters' backstories and they're actually going to work them out in this one major cohesive story. That it look like this is actually a movie that looks like it knows what it's doing. Like, it knows what it wants to say, and it wants to legit actually make a video game based movie where you have the elements that fans love and that fans want to see, and then you also have the elements that would actually make a proper story, a proper narrative. So you do have all those elements that are coming together. And by the way, one more thing I just want to say, speaking of elements that are considered fan favorites, of course, after the Get Over Here segment, like, they probably saved the best part for last, like, after the title, where you got the parts where it's like...
Finish them! Kano wins. You fucking beauty.
Like, of course, you gotta have Kano holding the freaking heart. Like, I just noticed that right now. It's like, oh god, yes, you gotta have that one character just holding someone's beating heart. Like, oh my god, they really are gonna be delivering on all that. So, of course, like especially the finishing moves. Like, you gotta have at least one moment where someone would have to say, finish them, and they gotta go all out in the ultimate kill. So, of course, overall, though, I just gotta say, yeah, this actually looks intense, and this actually does look awesome. Like, they're pretty much delivering on all the things that people love about Mortal Kombat, especially, like, going all out with the violence, with the blood, with the gore, and all that kind of stuff, and especially with the creativity of the characters, like, to really explore their fighting type moves and all their unique abilities as well. But also, at the same time, there is a bit of a promise that we could actually get a pretty solid story. Now, chances are, this could actually come out a little bit like what we have with the MonsterVerse movies, like with the Godzilla films and with Kong Skull Island. Yeah, I mean, like, I could debate that could be the worst case scenario, where at least the action scenes are awesome, but like the human element and the story element is very much weak. But then again, this still looks like it could be a very entertaining movie and a very solid movie, and I think already, just by what we have seen with this trailer, I think it's already up there where it's going to become, like, the best Mortal Kombat movie. It'll definitely beat out the ones from the 90s, and this is going to be the definitive Mortal Kombat film. So if you are, if you are all excited for the movie's release, then all you have to do is wait until April 16th for when the movie comes out in theaters and on HBO Max. So, with that said, I would like to go into the chat wall, and I would like to ask you all, what do you think about this trailer of Mortal Kombat? Now, are you guys a little bit iffy on this one? Is it not really for you? Or are you massively excited for this? Let me know what you all think on that. Oh, hold on a sec. I just saw someone put up a Mortal Kombat fanboy alert. I just need to read that first of all. Okay. Someone's a fan right here. Let's see now. Hype, 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 hype! Mortal Kombat is perhaps my favorite fighting game franchise of all times. Yes, even more than Super Smash Bros. And I want to see this movie so freaking badly. The 1995 film was cheesy, but still had its fun moments. But I have never been most excited to see an R-rated movie since Deadpool. Even close to my birthday. If it's bad, I'll finish it with a fatality. If it's good, it deserves a friendship. My final words are, movie! Get over here! Solid words, man. Very solid words. I don't know if there's going to be a comment that could top that. Let's see now. I'm more of a casual fan of Mortal Kombat, but this is awesome. And they are going with a hard R. But I might need to get used to Scorpion's voice. I mean, it's not bad, but it's not as demonic as I thought. Also, questions for you, AniMat. Are you ever going to review the movie where it comes out? And what's your favorite character? Oh my god. Well, okay, I'm not going to be reviewing the movie, but, oh man, it's been honestly quite a long time since I played any of the Mortal Kombat games. I think the last time was probably like 9 or something like that. Oh man, but that's a good question, honestly. Probably, yeah, probably, like, I might sound like I might sound normie, I might sound casual, but I would probably go with Scorpion. Scorpion is just a lot of fun to play with him. Let's see now. What else? What do we have here? Let's see. I'm pretty excited to see Scorpion, Sub-Zero, Liu Kang, and Raiden come back into another Mortal Kombat movie. I love seeing the combat and blood guts like it was in the game because that is the beauty and art of it all. I never actually played Mortal Kombat X or 11, but I did play the 2009 reboot of the game, and my reaction to it was amazing. I hope this movie will do better than the Monster Hunter movie. Again, I'm excited to see this movie, and let's just shout out the name Mortal Kombat! That's probably the one thing I will say I'm a little bit disappointed with this trailer, is the fact that they don't have a remix version of that, of the classic song. That would have like really been that would have really been the cherry on top of that. In fact, like that's kind of funny. That's actually a major surprise from both trailers this week. I'm surprised like Mortal Kombat doesn't have the Mortal Kombat theme, and even with the Cruella trailer, it doesn't even have some kind of like dark gritty remix of the Cruella de Vil song. I don't know, maybe it's just me, but it's just something that I've noticed. Let's see now. There we go. Oh yeah, this certainly feels like Mortal Kombat. The action is great, the characters seem to act like from the original games, and the gore is spot on. Though I am certainly not a fan of the new character Cole Young. I would much prefer that they had Liu Kang or especially Johnny Cage as the main character instead. Though they might just add a plot twist that Cole is Johnny. After all, one of the first scenes is with him in a cage match. Bruh. Like, really? You dare bring up a bad pun in my presence in my podcast, you fool! Alright. Anyways, what else we have here? I'm not a big fan of Mortal Kombat, but holy crap, that was awesome. All you really need is a Mortal Kombat movie. All you need for a really good Mortal Kombat movie is a great fight scene, a Sub-Zero versus Scorpion fight, and spectacular gore. This trailer delivers on all three. I'm glad that video game movies are starting to actually be good. I'll be watching this on HBO Max, and I'll definitely have fun doing so. Still, it's going to be hard to top the animated movie when Scorpion grabs Daffy Duck and possibly kills him before the WB logo. Oh yeah, that was a thing. Oh my god. I wonder, who's the person who animated that? They need major credit for it. Alright, I'll read one more comment before we get into the last story now. I've never been a Mortal Kombat fan. The only games I've played is Mortal Kombat vs. DC Universe, so I don't know if I'm going to see this. Though I do like the competition movie. I do like competition movies, so we'll see if I do decide to watch this. Though I couldn't help but think of Tony Stark, "I am Iron Man" line from the Avengers Endgame when the "I am Zero" line came up. Yeah, but then again, that might have a little bit of a different effect, you know? It's not the same thing as when Tony Stark says, "I am Iron Man," when Sub-Zero said, "I am Sub-Zero," you know? It probably has a different effect there, I'm just saying. But again, yes, if you are excited, though, to see this Mortal Kombat movie, just remember that it's going to be coming out both in theaters and on HBO Max on April 16th. And so, finally, we are now at the point where we are going to talk about the grand finale. And for this grand finale, actually, what a coincidence that I talked about something from video games, because I'm going to be talking about video games. And this time around, what we are going to be looking into is something that for almost a year and a half, we did not get any news from this. We didn't get any of this kind of news, and people have been highly anticipated for the return of this kind of news distribution. But finally, the moment has arrived this week, and finally, we now know a little bit more of what's going to be coming up in the future. And of course, what I am going to be talking about shall be regarding Nintendo Direct. Yes, ever since September of 2019, Nintendo hasn't released a single Nintendo Direct, or at least a major one, to go and highlight all the upcoming content that's going to be coming to the Nintendo Switch. That is until this week, though, where they did announce a whole batch of different news. And using my source here on IGN, we're going to be looking into one by one of all the different announcements that have been revealed. And then finally, I will go and give out my full thoughts on the whole matter. Now, with that said, let's go and begin, with this article on IGN, I'm actually going to go from down to up, where I'm going to be saving the biggest announcements for last. Now, starting in this list right over here, we are going to begin with the physical edition of Hades. Yes, the ever-popular game is finally going to be coming out in a physical form next month on March 19th, where it will also include a downloadable code where you can actually get the whole soundtrack, along with a 32-page full-color character compendium. Then afterwards, we also got Apex Legends that's going to be coming to the Switch next month on March 9th. Then following afterwards, actually right now, you can actually go and get a new game of Ghosts and Goblins, which is called Ghosts and Goblins Resurrection, available now on the Switch. Then afterwards, we also got Saga Frontier Remaster that is going to be coming on April 15th. Then afterward, I believe, is this the one that I do believe that is, just want to double check on something. That's the one that's like, is this what I think it is, or is this, no? Okay, because I do remember that there is the whole, oh yeah, I think this is probably the one. Or maybe not, I don't know. Or I don't know, maybe not, sorry. Because I do remember, maybe we'll get into it eventually, because I do remember they have revealed that it is going to be a Legends of Mana remake that's going to be coming to the Nintendo Switch. So I thought Saga Frontier would be that. But anyways, I was wrong. I apologize. Anyways, let's get back to this. Or maybe I'm not wrong, but... Well, anyways, Bravely Default 2. Yes, they have confirmed that that has officially been released and showed the final trailer of that. They have also revealed a brand new game from the people that brought you Danganronpa, which is going to be called The World's End Club, that will be coming out on the Switch later this year. Then there is also Knockout City, which is basically a dodgeball game, but this is the one that a lot of people were really hyped up more because of the trailer and the concepts that they have introduced in the trailer instead of the game itself, especially showing all these different genres like... we got an 8-bit princess, and then you got a World of Warcraft orc, and then like you got a Call of Duty soldier, all trying to play the game and stuff like that. So a lot of people were very disappointed about the game because they much preferred the trailer. Then following afterwards, next month is going to be the release of the completed edition of Plants vs. Zombies: Battle for the Neighborville. That's coming out on March 19th. Then we ended up getting some animation news a little bit, surprisingly enough, where DC Superhero Girls is finally coming to the Nintendo Switch with a brand new game called DC Superhero Girls Teen Power, which had a very prominent presence on Nintendo Direct that will be coming out on June 4th. Then afterwards, they have revealed a brand new game that's going to be coming soon on the Switch called Neon White, which is about assassins whose job is to go and kill demons in heaven using a card battle, which is said to be a first-person card battler. Then afterwards, we got an official release date for No More Heroes 3, which is going to be coming out on August 27th, 2021. Then it was revealed that Stubbs the Zombie is actually going to be making a comeback, not just for the Switch, but also for the PS4, Xbox One, and PC, which will be for next month on March 16th, where you play as a zombie, in which you gotta grow your zombie army. Then afterwards, we got the Capcom Arcade Stadium, in which that is actually out today. Not only was it announced on Nintendo Direct, but they even revealed that it is available now, where you could play some classic Capcom arcade games. Then afterwards, while no Borderlands game is coming to the Switch, they did reveal that a spin-off to Borderlands, which is called Tales from the Borderlands, is going to be coming next month on the Nintendo Switch on March 24th. Then afterwards, we got a new Monster Hunter game that's coming out next month called Monster Hunter Rise, and I just gotta say, as someone who hasn't really played the Monster Hunter games, Monster Hunter Rise does look pretty epic, and it does look like a pretty fascinating game to try out. Oh no, that's what I was looking for, derp. Sorry about that, folks. Here it is. This is what I was looking for. Yes, it was revealed that Legends of Mana is going to have a remastered version that will be coming to the Nintendo Switch. Then afterwards, we got a Samurai Warriors 5 that's coming to the Switch as well during the summer, which is a spin-off to Dynasty Warriors. Then following afterwards, 2 classic Japanese games are finally coming to the Nintendo Switch in North America as well, which is going to be called Famicom Detective Games. The first one being called The Missing Hair, and also The Girl Who Stands Behind, which both of them are going to be sold separately. So those 2 are going to be coming to the Switch later this year. Then we also got another game called Outer Wilds. Then following afterwards, Miitopia, the classic game for the Nintendo Switch, is going to be coming. No. Sorry, let me restart that. I don't think I said that correctly. Miitopia, the classic Nintendo 3DS title, is coming to the Nintendo Switch in May 21st, where you pretty much go and battle different monsters, and you would get to go and collect different emotions or different facial features for your Mii characters, including some new bonuses where you can add like makeup and stuff like that. Then following afterwards, we got an update that's going to be coming. Fudge nab, I think it has already arrived, but on Animal Crossing New Horizons specifically, they have actually revealed that as part of Mario's 35th anniversary, they are going to be including some new Super Mario items, including blocks, mushrooms, warp pipes, thwomps, as well as brand new costumes so that you can customize your character to look like Mario, Luigi, Wario, Waluigi, and many, many more. So you could get some brand new Mario items on Animal Crossing New Horizons. Then afterwards, they have revealed a new collector set that's coming to the Switch, which is called Ninja Gaiden Master Collection, which will be featuring some of the hardest games known to mankind, including Ninja Gaiden Sigma, Ninja Gaiden Sigma 2, and Ninja Gaiden 3 Razor's Edge, which that is going to be coming out on June 10th. And then following afterwards, we actually got some of the bigger news that has been revealed. Number one being that throughout 2021, you will get not 1, but 2 downloadable content in the form of an expansion pass for Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity. And then afterwards, they have also revealed that in the summer, Fall Guys is finally going to be coming out to the Nintendo Switch, which I just need to go and comment right now that honestly, among all the things that have been announced here, this is the one that really got me hyped up and really excited because I don't have like a gaming PC or a PS4, but I love watching Let's Players like Markiplier or Jacksepticeye, where they would go and play stuff like Fall Guys. It's really enjoyable, and it really did make me want to go and join the fun, but I couldn't because of the lack of things that I need to go and play the game. So hopefully when Fall Guys comes out in the summer, that maybe there will be a bit of like a resurgence in its popularity so that I could play this again, honestly. Then following afterwards, there is a new announcement that they have made called Star Wars Hunters, which is going to be coming for the Nintendo Switch later this year. And with this one, they barely said anything about it, but apparently it's going to be a free-to-play online multiplayer game. It looks like maybe it could be something similar to the veins of games like Team Fortress 2 or something like that, but with Star Wars characters that apparently is going to be set around the same time as The Mandalorian, so sometime after Return of the Jedi and before The Force Awakens. So that's going to be coming out later this year, and hopefully we will get more information about it. But then there is one major announcement, and one that they have really devoted a lot of time on the Direct talking about, which is the upcoming brand new Square Enix game, in which they call it for now Project Triangle Strategy. It is not necessarily a sequel, but it's kind of like a successor to Octopath Traveler, and they really went into detail about how the game works, and mentioning that it's going to be coming out next year in 2022. However, you can actually go on the Switch right now, and you can actually get a demo of it, so you can play a little bit, and then afterwards you can give Square Enix a survey about how you feel when playing the game and what would need to go and improve. So that's one of the major announcements that they have made for this one. And then following afterwards, they have revealed a new Mario sport game called Mario Golf Super Rush, in which it is your traditional Mario Golf game. It's golf with Mario characters, except with the added twist that there's also a brand new multiplayer mode called Speed Golf, in which a bunch of players can get together and they all play golf at the same time, where you pretty much swing your golf ball and you have to rush your way to go and like keep hitting the ball until it makes it in the hole. Like it isn't necessarily about how many strokes you did in terms of like getting it into the hole. It's about like who would be the first to get it into the hole. That seems to be like the big strategy of that one, but maybe they'll go a little bit more into that into the future. And of course, there are also many other elements as well, including the promise of like many more beloved Mario characters, and even like smaller characters that are making like a big appearance in Mario Golf, including the fact that you can actually play as King Babam, and even mentioning that there will be a story mode. So there is a little bit of that Mario Tennis Power Aces, like a little bit of stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? All right, and then following afterwards, yes, now this is actually considered the grand finale of the Nintendo Direct, and it's the fact that they have officially revealed that there is going to be a Splatoon 3, which takes your characters and set them in a brand new place called the Splatlands, which is a little bit more dystopian, but they are promising that it is the same beloved game that everyone loves, but now with a whole bunch of brand new weapons and a whole bunch of customization, especially with your avatar character, and that's going to be coming out in 2022. But then following afterwards, they have revealed that despite the fact that there is no announcements for Breath of the Wild 2, even though they did promise later this year we will get more information on that, they did reveal that there is going to be a Skyward Sword HD coming to the Nintendo Switch. So following the tradition of what was previously done with Legend of Zelda Wind Waker HD and Twilight Princess HD for the Nintendo Wii U, now there's going to be a new version for the Switch, in which they have actually promised that not only will you be able to play it with motion controls, but you can also play it with just buttons only. So you're able to go and play it, rather it be on your TV, so you can really take advantage of the motion controls, or you can just go and play it with the buttons so that you can also play it on mobile as well. But on top of that, not only did they reveal Skyward Sword HD, but they've also revealed some brand new Joy-Cons that are going to be available, which is actually based on Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword. And my god, do they look absolutely beautiful. And maybe it's not necessarily Skyward Sword theme, but it is definitely a Zelda theme Joy-Con controller. And I'm sure for Zelda fans, this is definitely something that is a must-have for their collection. And finally, I think this is the last announcement that they have officially revealed. And they actually started off, it might as well go and conclude this whole summary with the first thing that they have revealed, which is the new character that's going to be coming to Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, which is going to be none other than not just Pyra, but Mithra as well from Xenoblade Chronicles 2, in which I will say it's actually a very clever trailer that they started out. Very deceiving, showing like elements from Xenoblade Chronicles 2, putting that little story of Rex trying to figure out where is Pyra, and then she just reveals like, I'm going away because I'm invited for Smash, yo! It's like, what? And that's pretty much the major thing, is that both Pyra and Mithra are going to be coming for Smash Ultimate in March 2021, so next month. We only got a little bit of a taste of how they're going to play, but the big thing about it is that, yes, they are going to be joining the roster next month. Now, one thing that I do want to try to comment immediately onto this is that, like, for me, I've never honestly played any of the Xenoblade Chronicles game, including not playing Xenoblade Chronicles 2, so for me it was just like, okay, so it's not one of my picks, oh well. And honestly, it did get me a little bit curious, because I was thinking that, yes, this is going to be a bit of another controversial decision, because it is true that also not many people have actually played Xenoblade Chronicles 2. Now, I know that for Xenoblade Chronicles fans, like, they're happy for, they're happy about the news, and I'm happy for them. Like, yeah, that's definitely a great plus for them, especially for a fan favorite character like Pyra and Mithra. However, I was thinking that for non-fans or people not familiar with Xenoblade Chronicles, I was thinking that there might be some backlash, mainly because of the fact that technically she does count as another one of those anime sword fighters. And we all know about the controversy with that, especially with how Nintendo really did push so many Fire Emblem characters onto Smash Bros. Ultimate. So I thought it would be like the same kind of backlash as that. However, that's not necessarily the case. What I have been seeing is just a whole bunch of mixed reactions. Of course, you got the fans that are absolutely happy that Pyra is in Smash Ultimate, but for the non-fans, it's honestly weird and intriguing to find that the reason why people are upset, the reason why people would be upset that Pyra and Mithra are now a part of Smash Bros. Ultimate is not actually because of the fact that it's another anime sword fighter, but believe it or not, it's because of the fact that they got big boobs. Like, that is actually the reason why people are angry. It's because big titty anime girls are now being included onto Smash Bros. Ultimate. And it's kind of intriguing in a way, because like we have seen time and time again the stigma against fictional female characters that do have huge boobs. And often it seemed like something that people that they cannot emotionally handle whenever they would see a character like that, where they would have like a really large rack and not necessarily using it for like sexual exploitation reasons, but it's like kind of a coincidence that they just so happen to have big boobs. And that's the reason why we're seeing so much backlash, which really got me confused. And lately, I always see the internet really flip-flopping when it comes to this subject, where there are some characters with big boobs that they would give backlash and they give absolute hatred towards. And then there are others, though, that they would give absolute praise towards, that they would absolutely adore, like on top of having big boobs as well. It's not just the case with Pyra and Mithra. I also got other examples as well. Like, if we look into, like, one good example, Uzaki-chan. Like, you might remember when the anime was announced, or the anime was localized in North America and in Europe and stuff like that. Like, when Uzaki-chan got outside of Japan, where people really gave massive backlash to this character because of the fact that her design makes her look like a little girl, despite the fact that she got some pretty big titties over here. And technically, she's not a little girl. She's not a minor. Technically, the story states that she's around 20 years old. But still, it doesn't change the fact that people gave massive hatred for her design, and a big part of it is because of the fact that she has big boobs. But that is not always the case, though, because sometimes there are other fictional characters that do have massive boobs, and yet they are highly praised. They are highly beloved. And we have seen that, and it's still happening to this day, where people are still loving Lady Dimitrescu from Resident Evil Village. And the reason why I do bring her up is because some people could debate that she is probably, so far, the sexiest thing of 2021. The biggest thing, and quite literally, considering that she is stated to be almost 10 feet tall, she's pretty much the biggest thing on the internet that, like, most people are lusting over. I know a few people that are not into her, but when people like her, my god, do they love her and praise her like a goddess. And I'm not gonna lie, like, even I am guilty for loving Lady Dimitrescu as well. Like, I'm still debating, like, I know she's a dream girl on one hand, but then again, there's also the fact that, like, she could kill me, like, with her Freddy Krueger-like claws, but still, like, I'm still in debate, but my god, she's still, like, absolutely gorgeous. But, back to what I was talking about, I mean, there is still no denying, this is another fictional character, from a video game, in fact, where she's got huge boobs. I mean, like, they are in full display right over here. There is no denying that her set is absolutely large. And yet, the backlash on that is minimal, like almost non-existent even. People are just focusing on the fact that it is just a very tall vampire lady that people absolutely adore. So it really is kind of like a give or take on, like, who people would go after instead of, like, whom people would not go after. There really is, unfortunately, this stigma of people with just really large boobs, and people could only think about sex, unfortunately. And that is also a part of the controversy of why people have this hatred of fictional characters with big boobs, is because there is kind of this prejudice where those types of characters don't really have a personality. Which, honestly, that might not necessarily be true. And I mean, this also applies to real life as well. Like, there are I'm sure you probably know plenty of girls out there who do have large boobs, and yet they are still full of personality. And it's kind of ironic, and it's obvious that this backlash is coming from people who are not familiar with Xenoblade Chronicles 2, mainly because of the fact that here's the hypocrisy of it all. With Lady Dimitrescu, technically, Resident Evil Village is not officially out yet. Like, we have the demo of it, but the game is not coming out until, like, May, I believe. But when it comes to Xenoblade Chronicles 2, that game has already been released. And even though I'm not familiar with the game, I can already tell that technically, Pyra and Mithra, they feel like characters that they're just full with personality. If there's anything bigger than their breasts, it's their personality. So that's the thing, is that it really is a situation of just lack of context. It really is a situation where lack of context really did cause a whole lot of trouble. And I'm sure that this is a case where people just need to get to know characters like Pyra and Mithra. If they actually did play Xenoblade Chronicles, then they know who these characters actually are. And honestly, like, in general, I just find it so dumb that people would just get upset over characters that just have big boobs and say that the design is terrible because of that kind of choice and stuff like that. It's like, yeah, I mean, like, sure, they could have those big boobs, and I mean, they are prominently there, but that doesn't necessarily mean that makes them bad characters. And again, this is just to mention, there are plenty of people in the real world that do have big boobs as well, but they're not about their tits. You know what I mean? They're not all about their big features. Like, they're much more, they can be a lot more than that. So I just find it so stupid. In fact, like, people who go after others for having big boobs, whether it be real or fictional, I think it says a lot more about the accuser than the accused. Because if you cannot emotionally handle yourself when you do see big pairs of boobs, then that says more about you than it does about the person. And keep in mind, this is coming from someone who loves big boobs. I'm considered a boob guy, so, like, you gotta learn how to handle yourself when you are in the presence of, like, these big boobs. If the problem is just the fact that, like, the boobs are there and you don't get to see them bare, like, you don't get to see them in full, then just go to DeviantArt. I'm sure one quick search and bam, you'll find like dozens of artwork, especially when it comes to Pyra and Mithra. I'm sure the website is filled with plenty of those kinds of artwork where Pyra and Mithra have a lot less armor on them, if you know what I'm saying. So with all that said though, overall, I will say that when it comes to this Nintendo Direct, it's fine, I guess. I would say it's just decent. There's just a whole bunch of things that I don't necessarily care a whole lot about, and some expectations were just like, okay. Like, there ain't any major announcements, but I will say there are a few, though, that, like, did pique my interest, and some that I might be a little bit excited for. Like, yeah, I am hyped up for, I'm definitely hyped up for something like Fall Guys and Splatoon 3, and I am interested to see how things are going to go with Skyward Sword HD. I've never played the original game myself, so I might pick this one up. But, excuse me. But overall, I will say, though, it is undeniably a Nintendo Direct. It is very much exactly like what people want to get out of a Nintendo Direct, so at least there is that. Like, the content itself, like, it's a bit lackluster, but at least we did get a Nintendo Direct, and it is nice to feel that same feeling when watching it. So hopefully this will bring back the traction of the Nintendo Direct, and hopefully we will get another one in the next few months. Alright, so with that said and done now, I would like to go into the chat wall, and I would like to go and ask you all, what do you all think about this Nintendo Direct? Do you feel like there are some games that you are excited about? What are your highlights? What are some of your disappointments? Let me know what you think about this. Okay, let's see what we have here. At this point, Super Smash Bros. Is the best anime fighting game in the history of mankind. Okay, joking aside, Pyra and Mithra were not what I was predicting, but they did remind me of a Pokemon trainer who is one of my mains due to the idea of changing characters mid-battle, so I'll give them a chance. Yeah, that is definitely true. Like, honestly, like, I'll just say with Pyra and Mithra, they do remind me that they could be like the same type of character where it's kind of like in the past games, like with Samus and Zero Suit Samus, or like with Zelda and Sheik, where you switch up with those characters, and with a Pokemon trainer as well. Let's see now. Some of the other highlights for me were Famicom Detective Club coming to the West, the comeback of Mario Golf, DLC of Age of Calamity, and the mind-blowing surprise of Splatoon 3. Alright, that's awesome. Let's see. While I was slightly underwhelmed with some outcomes, like the lack of a Tamagotchi life sequel, but these are still great reveals nonetheless. I'm particularly intrigued by the Smash reveal, since I was half expecting Tails or Crash Bandicoot, but Pyra and Mithra are good choices, so I'm particularly excited for Splatoon 3. However, this isn't particularly related to Direct, but I just gotta ask, does anyone remember AniMat's Plays? Yeah, I know. But I mean, like, if you can help me out on Patreon, if you can help contribute, like, if I reach to the $2,000 a month goal, I promise that I will be bringing that back. I promise you. Anyways, I felt pretty meh about this Direct. I did like some of the games announcement, like Splatoon, Project Triangle Strategy, Mario Golf, No More Heroes, and Neon White, but the rest aren't that interesting to me, and a lot of these are just remasters and ports. As for Pyra and Mithra, I said this once on Twitter, and I'll say it again. If the new characters in Smash ain't Crash, then they are just trash. Honestly, I just gotta say, for me personally, I was actually expecting Crash, mainly because of the fact that I felt like it would have been a perfect opportunity to announce that, considering that they did reveal, it was revealed before that Crash 4 is actually coming to the Switch next month, so I thought it would be a perfect opportunity to do so. But no, it looks like it belongs to Pyra and Mithra. Ah, well. Anyways, here's what I think of the Direct. A few Switch ports like Hades, Legends of Mana, and Fall Guys makes me wanting more of the hybrid consoles. DC Superhero Girl fans are sure to be thrilled about the new game. Capcom Arcade Stadium sounds like a fun collection since I am a retro gamer myself. Miitopia Switch got me excited to play the game again in an enhanced way. Star Wars Hunters marks the return of Lucasfilm's games after 31 years. And of course, Skyward Sword HD and Splatoon 3. 9 out of 10. Ooh, someone's pretty excited about that. Let's see now. I'm in the minority, but the direct was above average in my opinion. Pyra and Smash is cool, but for the genre I have no interest in, which is RPGs. Mario Golf was my highlight from the show, and Splatoon 3 looks pretty cool. Overall, it was okay for what it is, but it's not for me. Also, side note, if Crash isn't going to join the Ultimate, at least I have Smash Bros. Crusade, which is basically a fan game, which, hot take, I prefer that over Ultimate. Oh, buddy. Damn. All right, let's see now. Oh, and someone also added into the comment, horny jail now. You ain't freaking catching me, man. Trust me, if you really know me, trust me, I should be locked up for life in horny jail. Oh boy. Let's see what else. Who else? I think I'm gonna go and read one more comment. Oh god, hopefully people won't take that out of context. Anyways, with Pyra and Mythra's appearance in Smash, this is where I'm starting to doubt for Crash's arrival in the game, since there's only 2 spots left. Some of the other reason might be of a probable expensive license from Activision. Smash picking more characters from past picked franchises like Final Fantasy and Xenoblade. Many of the fighters were made by Japan designers, and because he's been hyped up so much that it's becoming unsurprising. I could be wrong, but it seems more likely cause. I mean, unfortunately, you could be correct, but ultimately, we will have to wait and see. We still got 2 more spots open, so we'll just have to wait until what's going to be ultimately in Smash. Well, we'll see who else is going to be up. But with that said and done, now I think that shall be it for today's episode of AniMat's Crazy Cartoon Cast, and what a fun-filled episode we had today. So I just want to say thank you all so much for joining me on this episode. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll see what happens next week when we got some more crazy news coming up, and hopefully a little bit more cartoon news as well. So with all that said and done, I would like to say thank you all so much for watching. Thank you all so much for listening. And until next time, see you later, dudes!